My name is Greg Margison. I am the safety specialist for Whitecap. So this week is OSHA Stand Down Week, and it's the one week a year that OSHA really wants you to come down from heights and talk about fall protection and stats of what can happen to you on the job site when working at height. So today we brought Adam Neihart from Fall Tech. He's going to go over some of the equipment they use or that they manufacture and how to properly use it. And he's going to show you some interesting things. So we appreciate you coming out today, and I hope you find this informative.
All right, if you don't mind, do me a favor and go ahead and step forward so we can. I don't feel like I'm yelling, and I feel like we can actually learn something together. Oh, fantastic! Thank you.
Yep.
Now, show of hands, how many are excited to be here this morning? Like, man, yes, I can feel it. I can feel this crowd energy. It's just, man, the vibe is real. No, I know that sometimes fall protection is not the most exciting thing in the world to talk about, but the facts are it's the leading cause of death in construction. Okay, mince no words. You guys are in a dangerous role, and you need to know how to use your equipment properly. Now, incidentally, about 23% of deaths occur 11 to 15 feet off the ground, okay? So we're going to keep that in mind as we go through and talk about some of the different products and connectors. We'll just kind of start from the top, and we'll go A, B, C, D, all right, because I like to keep things simple. That's how I roll. So if we start with an anchor point and we're looking for a place to tie off, all right, what needs to be going through our head on how we choose a good anchor point? So let's say you're not in a lift where you have your nice little manufactured anchor point, but you're actually in real world, you're out here on a site and you're trying to decide what you're going to tie off to. What kind of criteria do you guys use to decide if something's good to tie around or not?
Distance to the ground.
Okay, so the distance to the ground, I do like that. So we need to know our fall distance. But if we're looking for something strong, okay, we need to kind of envision, would I hang a pickup truck from it, all right? So are we going to wrap around conduit? No, we're not going to wrap around. Thank you. I appreciate some audience participation here. So no, we're not going to wrap around conduit. I'm not going to go through every anchor because we'll be here till this time next week, but I did want to hit real quick on a pass-through anchor, because do you guys use these out in the field? Yeah, of course you use them. Everyone uses them. What I find is it's commonly the most used and the most misused anchor that's out there. And part of the reason is when we grab it, we want to wrap, we don't even wrap it around anything. We just want to hook onto it like this, so it just makes a basket, okay? But really, it ought to be wrapped around your anchor point. Now up there, I have it intentionally. I have it long, okay, and it should be wrapped again. So the intent of a pass-through anchor is to allow it to pass through itself, okay? So with the yellow side against whatever you've decided to tie around, are we going to tie around the handrail ever? No, because the handrail is rated for what?
For your hand.
Thank you. A heavy hand of 200 pounds.
Can I hold this for you?
Well, if you want to.
I don't really want to, but.
Oh, well, I feel kind of really special now. So,
Barney says everyone's special.
thank you. Yes, and I'm mic'd up for this guy here, so I try to mind my P's and Q's here. But when we get through wrapping it, we want it to come down and be like a number 9 or an upside down 6. Okay. So this is going to be the proper way to use this guy. Make sure that the yellow part is against what you're going around, and make sure that before you use anything, what are we going to do? We'll grab our fall protection. We're going to do what?
Make sure it can yank on it.
Yeah, okay, so if we got an SRL, we're going to give a couple yanks on it, make sure it locks up. And if we have an anchor like this, we're going to inspect and make sure there's no burns, there's no tears, there's no cracks, any distortion, pitted rust on our D-rings, any of those things on our anchors. So I won't beat a dead horse anymore on anchors. Everyone clear on that? All right, thank you. I appreciate everyone being clear. I need, where's my guy, the camouflage hat up. Come on up here, bud. Yeah, see, I'll give you a prize. Don't you worry about it. What's your name?
Junior.
Your name's Junior. All right. So Junior's going to put this guy on, and while he's putting it on, we're going to go over how we're going to inspect a harness. Okay. So let me grab a harness. So, thank you. So when you guys are grabbing your harness, what is it that you're looking for on this thing?
Straps go over your shoulders.
Okay, yeah, so we're going to make sure we have all our strapping there. We're going to look at our D-ring, and what are we going to check with our D-ring?
Make sure there's no tears around it or anything.
Okay, so make sure that the webbing's good around it. Make sure that the D-ring itself is not bent. All right, I always start on the back here. We have impact indicator. Okay, you may not know this, but it's actually just it's just the webbing that's sewn against itself, and then when it pops, it'll say stop, remove from service. Okay, so kind of a no-brainer. We're at that point, we're going to take it out of service. But we're going to continue to look at our webbing. We're going to make sure that it has all of its labels. All right, and make sure you can read the labels, because if you can't, it needs to come out of service. So how heavy can you be and wear a harness? What's the weight ratings?
Depends on the harness.
Thank you. 90% of the answers for fall protection is it depends. So for us, it is ANSI, which writes testing standards for fall protection, okay? We are going to test that between 130 and 310 pounds, but we can test it for more. So ours are actually good for 420 pounds. Now, your chain is only as good as what?
Whatever it's connected to.
Your chain is only as good as its weakest what? Weakest link, okay? Now, I don't recommend anybody really over 3 bills be in the air. It's just too much force on your body, and, you know, a lot of times that becomes a recovery versus a rescue, all right? So we want to make sure we're keeping safe that way. But also that when we choose our connector, that it's also rated for the same weight that we are, all right, on our harness. Now, also, and I'll be getting with you here, Junior, to settle down. We're going to make sure that all of our connectors, all of our adjustments freely move. All right, so we're going to make sure those work and we connect them. On our tumbuckle legs, we're going to make sure that that there's no elongation as far as on the grommets, all right, because that's an impact indicator. Make sure we're good on those. Now, question for you, if you've got chicken legs like me and you've got a lot of webbing left over, can you just cut this off? No, we're not. I mean, the only reason I say it's because I see it, all right? So we're not going to modify our PPE that way. All right. Now, last thing on inspection is make sure that you're actually pulling on the webbing, all right? What would degrade the stitching, and why is it important to even make sure the stitching doesn't pop? What would cause the stitching to fail?
Wear and tear and overuse.
Okay. Burns would do it. What if we're leaving this out in the sun?
Dry rot.
Yeah, it will. So this actually happened over in Illinois at a customer. It was for a utility, and the guy fell out. Fell out of the bucket's what he did, and he fell 15 feet. All right, everything caught, everything slowed his fall down. It took the impact from him, so he's hanging there, and his stitching starts popping, and then he falls to the ground. Okay, because the stitching failed. Now in that case, it was because they left their harnesses out in the sun all the time. But you guys, well, most of you guys, I don't know about Matt. Most of you guys sweat every day in your harness, okay? Now, Matt flies his drone around, so he didn't have to get up on the rooftop. I don't blame him. But if you sweat every day in your harness and you're throwing this in your Knack box and you're picking it up, you're throwing it in there, and it never gets a chance to dry out, it's going to degrade that stitching, guys. So make sure we're taking care of this. All right. So now that we've already inspected it, now we're going to make sure that we're actually putting it on correctly, and that's where my friend Junior comes in the picture. So hold on here. All right, I can hold it for this part. All right, Junior. So let's turn around, Junior. Now, no one's going to check you out. Well, they might, but that's their problem. All right, where does the D-ring need to be in relation to his back?
Between your shoulder blades.
All right, so textbook answer is plus or minus 2 inches in between your shoulder blades. Well, here's the reality. The higher this D-ring is, the better off you are. Why? Because we want to be like a fishing bobber if we're hanging there. We don't want to be like Superman. And the further this is down your back, the more like Superman you are in the event of a fall or when you're hanging there. That's a bad day. We're trying to eliminate bad days, okay? It's important to understand that the same harness that saves you can be the harness that kills you. All right, this is real stuff, guys. That's leading cause of death. All right, so this D-ring by textbook's okay. I would probably prefer it to be a little higher. All right, but Junior didn't even know he was doing this today, so you got to give him a little bit of break. All right. All right, so turn around here. Now, how do we know if our leg straps are adjusted properly? All right, so it depends maybe on the manufacturer. What we're going to say is if you can slide your hand in there, you're fine. If you can turn and make a fist, you're not fine, okay? What's the danger of wearing our leg straps too loose, fellas? Yeah, so whatever's down here comes racing up here in the event of a fall, okay? And it can blow out anything in its way. And if you want proof, I've got a picture of a guy in Cincinnati that this happened to. Okay, they took it in the OR before everything was tucked in and sewn up. All right, so hopefully you're still enjoying your breakfast. All right, so we want to make sure these are adjusted properly. Now, where does a chest strap need to be? Besides on his chest, where at on your chest? Okay. I don't know where Junior's nipples are. I'm not going to find out. So, but this should be nipple height, and your female just above the nipples. What's the danger of it being right here? Now Junior has it in his Adam's apple in the event of a fall, okay? So, you don't want to be fighting your harness in the event of a fall, okay? You want it to save you. You want to have some trauma straps so you can get your blood flowing. And for God's sakes, I hope you got a good rescue plan, because if you've hung in a harness, you know that about 10 seconds in, you're wanting out of that thing, all right? All right, so now how do you even adjust these chest straps?
They're hard.
What's hard? Oh, sorry. All right, so the chest straps, all you gotta do is pull down on them. Now, what we have here is a loose torso strap, all right? So how do you adjust the torso on this? Well, on this one, yeah, the torso is pretty easy. There, I've adjusted it. On this one, how do you do this?
Pull down.
Oh, okay. And that's what happens. If you pull down on this thing, nothing happens. Why? Because the design of this is so it to lock up, all right, and not allow the stitching to move. Now, if you put this perpendicular, and if I had my help up here with the mic, here, you can hold the mic. Put it perpendicular. Now you can adjust it, all right? See, I won't charge you for that. But if you put this perpendicular, you can adjust this torso adjustment, okay? So that's how you adjust the harness. Please take 5 minutes and adjust your harness. It is imperative that we wear it correctly. All right. All right, so you guys have this model, and that's how you adjust those torsos, okay? So make sure we have our D-ring up top. Make sure we have this adjusted and we're wearing our leg straps proper, okay? Make sense? Thank you. I like affirmation. All right. So that's about Junior. You can take that off. I appreciate you being a model for me today. Now, are you guys using D-ring extenders? Yes, you're using Why do you use a D-ring extender?
So you can hook onto your yo-yo. You can actually reach it.
You know why you can reach it here? Because your D-ring's halfway down your back, okay? And I agree that when you flip this thing around, that's easy to do. But if you've got your D-ring at the top of your shoulder, even if you've got a little bit of shoulder problems, you should be able to use your other hand, reach back there, you know, and help and get that yeah, see? Wow. Any more tricks for us? That's awesome. All right, so you should be able to reach that D-ring. If you've got your D-ring too far down your back, I do agree it's hard to get to, but you've also just increased your fall clearance and made yourself like Superman. All right, so that's a real important thing. If you're insistent on using D-rings, use the cable D-ring extender, because when this goes over something sharp, it doesn't abrade and it doesn't cut. When this goes over something sharp, guess what happens? Your fall continues. All right, don't worry, you stop when you hit the ground. But that's what happens if you use this guy. All right. So when we talk about connectors, how many of you guys are using a 6-foot shock absorbing lanyard? You guys are using these. Okay. Where does now 22% of the falls happen between what? 11 and what? 15 feet. Huh, I wonder why. That's interesting. How much fall clearance do you need to have for this, even if it's hooked up at the height of your, we'll say, shoulder, where your D-ring is? and you're 6 foot. All right.
18 to 11 feet. Add that to whatever your length is.
All right. So let's just pretend that I'm 6 feet, which I'm not. But if I'm 6 feet and this is 6 feet and this is stretchy, so it does stretch out to 6 feet. So if I'm 6 feet and this is 6 feet, how much we have there? 12. Thank you. You guys, we're right next to an elementary school, and they're going to be real impressed with you guys. We're at 12. All right. Now, how much shock absorption is wound up in here? Shock absorption being something like this. All right. You guys won't know this. It's 4 feet. All right. So we have to allow worst case scenario of 4 feet. So we're at 12 feet. We add 4. We're at what? 16. Thank you. So we're at 16 feet. Now your harness will stretch a foot. We gotta. If it's put on properly, it stretches a foot. More if if you've got it too loose. Okay. But a foot of harness stretch puts us at what? 17. You have to have a 1.5 foot safety factor in there, so it's 18.5 feet, and that's if this is tied off at your shoulder. Okay. Huh. I wonder why so many deaths happen between 11 and 15 feet. It's because this right here. Okay. In a lot of cases, some cases they don't have anything on. But that is why, some sort of an SRL where it locks up, all right, as a seat belt. That's why these are so much more safe. Okay, it's just real world out there, guys. All right, so what is the difference between something that's leading edge and non-leading edge? And then we'll do some fun stuff here with Randy. If I say something has a leading edge, what am I saying? What am I meaning? Okay, sharp, thank you. It can be sharp or it can be abrasive. You know, concrete would be a leading edge as well. By definition, it's anytime your edge is changing or moving with you. But if it's a sharp edge, now, if this goes over something sharp, what happens? Yeah, you get to continue your fall, okay? So that is why we have SRLs out that are for leading edge. Maybe you've got large blocks like this that you're hooking on your back, okay? And you're working from that. All right, this is leading edge. It says so on the package here. Now, fall protection, you have to use it the way it's designed and the way it's tested. So how do we even know how to use it properly? Read? What? Okay, all right. Safety manuals, all right. So how many of you guys are packing around your instruction manuals with you? Well, how many of you have your smartphones? All right, so therefore you have instruction manual, at least if you're using Faltech stuff. So it's important, it has all the do's and don'ts and hows and how nots all in there, which I love, especially when I get a call from someone and ask me, hey, can I use this in this configuration? And all I'd really do is look at the instructions and give them an answer, and they think I'm a genius, but I'm not, I just read the instructions, okay? So let's make sure that we take time, we understand how to use our equipment. All right. So I'm going to go up top here, and we're going to do a couple of drops with Randy. One is going to be with a 6 foot shock absorbing lanyard, and then we'll get on to the 6 foot SRL, which is self-retracting lifeline. And then from there, we'll just look at time and see what other stuff we can get into with him, okay? If you guys have any questions, feel free to shout them out, because I don't mind at all taking questions. This day and morning is for you guys. Incidentally, it's not for my benefit, it's for yours. I'm not going to go put on a harness and work all day, okay? So, what is this called right here? You call it what it is. It's a rope, it's a string, it's whatever. It's a tag line, okay? The purpose of a tag line is to pull down on your hook so you can hook it onto yourself. So what we don't want to do is take this, hook it down somewhere, and leave for the day, okay? Because what happens is spring fatigue in that unit. And what happens when you get spring fatigue is it won't retract all the way, all right? If you are going to fall, you want your equipment working properly. So we're going to keep a hold of this rope and use it as a tag line, okay? Now, whenever you chest your SRL, you're going to give 2 tugs on it, make sure that locks up. You going to run the remote for me today?
Yep.
Thank you.
Greg asked me to.
He didn't want to do it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He thought it'd be fun to let the rookie do it.
Oh, Well, it's not hard. It just has up arrow and down arrow on it. All right, go ahead and run him up here. That's good. All right, so Randy has been put through the ringer, okay? Randy has taken a lot of falls. And he doesn't wear shoes because he and I both, I'm from Kentucky, and so I made him part hillbilly, and I can say that because I'm from Kentucky. All right, settle down. Okay. So when we have a 6-foot shock absorbing lanyard, or anything, it's always safest if we have the shock absorption with us, okay? Because if you go over the edge of something, you want that shock absorption to be with you, all right? So we're gonna hook Randy up here. Again, this is not unlike anything that I typically see out in the field. Let me go ahead and wrap this thing around here correctly. All right, so for my own entertainment, I'm gonna have you guys do a countdown, starting with 5. There we go.
3, 2, 1.
Yeah, it happens every time. He gets even a little bit more tore up. All right, so you can see now this right here is your shock absorption, and it didn't even deploy. He didn't even fall far enough to make this thing activate, okay? That's the danger of using these things. All right, so go ahead and run that thing down. Then what we'll do, you're gonna pick him up so I can get the tension off this. Then we're gonna lay him down on the ground. All right, go ahead and let him down. A little bit more. Okay, that's good. All right, go ahead and string him back up there. You quit working?
Yep.
Push your, all right. You gotta push your button in or pull it up one, that red button. Now you should be rolling. That's good. So, in relation to your body, where's the best place to have your anchor point? Straight above you, okay? So you fall straight down, okay? If you have it off to the side, you can be swinging into whatever your hazard is you're swinging into. So it's good to be cognizant of that. All right. Ring lights get twisted up here. All right. So in 5, 4, there you go.
3, 2, 1.
See? Yeah, good job, Randy. Now, he did hit the side of the trailer. We had just a little bit of a swing fall there, not much, okay, but it's a much better day for him in that he didn't just kill himself hitting the ground, right? All right. Where are we at on time, Matt? All right, so, do what? All right, go ahead and run this down a little bit. Now, how many things can you connect into your D-ring at once? 1, okay? Unless you're doing a demo, and then I'm gonna connect 2, or if you're doing a rescue, you're allowed to use your D-ring as rescue even though if you got something hooked to it. Now, go ahead and pull them up a little, go ahead and pull him up. All right. So now you guys can see that there is some of the shock absorption that started coming out of this thing. It actually didn't, none of it deployed out on this drop, okay? So I'm going to reuse this SRL. You're never going to reuse a harness that you fall in. You're never going to reuse any equipment that you fall in either, unless you work for Faltech and you try to save your owner some money, okay? So that's why I keep reusing this harness. Also, it's hard to put a harness on a dead guy.
How much does Randy weigh?
Randy weighs about 200 pounds. Yeah. All right, so now in this scenario, oh shoot. Well, in this scenario, it's not what I wanted. This is why I had it like this. So in this scenario, we've got our cross arm strap, and we put it around one time, okay? We didn't take the extra time to wrap it around. Now, from our D-ring, we're going to be a little more than a foot down from our D-ring, okay? But we're still going to go ahead and hook this up because, hey, we've got an anchor point that's strong. We've got an SRL that we have all the faith in the world in. We have a 10,000 pound anchor right here. So let's rock and roll, okay? So this just shows you the difference of overhead versus tying off below your D-ring. All right. So hopefully I do need to put some WD-40 on this thing. Hopefully it works again. So we're going to do in 5,
4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, so that's all right. All right, so you can see that even when we use equipment, but we use it and we don't understand our fall clearance, we may have the right equipment that actually can save our life. If we don't use it properly, then we've just negated it, okay? You guys, please make sure when you're hooking up, when you're finding an anchor point, when you're fitting your harness on, when you're selecting your equipment, all right? Let's get what we need. Let's get the right thing out there. And if you see something, you say something. If you don't feel like something's right, you go to Tyler and Matt, whoever else, and say, I don't think this is the best way, okay? Because no one should care more about your safety than you, all right? So I appreciate you guys coming this morning, even though you probably didn't have a lot of choice. You know, I guess, you know, who doesn't want donuts and a free cooler and t-shirts and stuff? But hopefully you're able to take something from the presentation and back with you to the job site so we can drive down these numbers that just seem to keep increasing with fatalities due to falls. All right, that's what I've got. You have anything, Matt?
Yeah, I do actually.
Oh, Matt has something. Oh, you giving away your drone? Oh no, he's not giving away his drone.
Yeah, thanks guys for showing up, eating some donuts here. All I want to say is real quick, you know, Weigan wants to get you guys in this. Just do your part. That's all we ask is you identify that 6-foot fall and stop. Get with your superintendent, get with your foreman, say, hey, this isn't right, and we'll make it right. That's all we want to do here is make sure every one of you goes home to see whatever you want to see at home. So that's it. Thanks guys. Appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you.